The moon hung low in the midnight sky, casting pale beams of light across the dense forest. The trees stood like ancient sentinels, their branches twisted into grotesque shapes that clawed at the heavens. A cold wind slithered through the woods, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Sarah gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles white as she navigated the narrow, winding road. Her phone had lost signal miles ago, and the gas gauge hovered precariously close to empty. She cursed under her breath, regretting her decision to take the back roads to avoid highway traffic. The radio crackled with the static before going completely silent. Even the comforting hum of music had abandoned her. The isolation pressed against her chest like a weight. Ahead, the headlights caught a flash of movement. Sarah slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching against the asphalt. Heart racing, she scanned the road but saw nothing. Just shadows dancing in the wind. "Get a grip," she muttered, forcing a shaky breath. As she prepared to drive on, a figure emerged from the tree line. A man, disheveled and wild-eyed, waving frantically. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. Logic told her to keep driving, but something about his desperation made her pause. Rolling down the window just a crack, she called out, "Are you okay?" "Please," the man gasped, his voice hoarse. "You have to help me. They're coming." Sarah's stomach knotted. "Who's coming?" Before he could answer, a guttural howl echoed through the forest. The sound was primal, filled with rage and hunger. The man's eyes widened in terror. "Get in," Sarah commanded. He didn't need to be told twice. He yanked open the passenger door and scrambled inside. Sarah floored the gas pedal, the car lurching forward. "What was that?" she demanded, her voice tight. "They're not human," he said, panting. "We have to keep moving." The road stretched endlessly ahead, flanked by looming trees that seemed to close in on them. Shadows flickered at the edges of Sarah's vision, but she refused to look. Fear gnawed at her resolve. "What's your name?" she asked, trying to maintain some semblance of control. "Ethan," he said. "Thank you for stopping. Most people wouldn't have." "I'm Sarah. What's out there?" Ethan shook his head. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me." Before he could respond, the car's headlights flickered, then went dark. The engine sputtered and died, leaving them in suffocating silence. "No, no, no," Sarah whispered, turning the key repeatedly. The car refused to start. The howl came again, closer this time. Sarah's breath hitched as she saw glowing eyes in the darkness, circling them like predators. "We have to run," Ethan said urgently. "Into the woods." Sarah's voice cracked. "Are you insane? Staying here is worse." Reluctantly, Sarah grabbed her phone and keys, though she knew neither would be of much use. They bolted from the car, plunging into the forest. Branches whipped at Sarah's face and arms, but she didn't dare slow down. Behind them, heavy footfalls and snarls tore through the night. Whatever was chasing them was fast, too fast. Ethan grabbed Sarah's hand, pulling her toward a narrow path, barely visible in the darkness. "This way." They stumbled upon an old cabin, its wooden frame warped with age. The windows were boarded up, and the door hung ajar. Desperation drove them inside. Ethan slammed the door shut and shoved a heavy beam across it. "This should hold," he said, though doubt laced his voice. Sarah's chest heaved as she tried to catch her breath. "What are those things?" "Hunters," Ethan said grimly. "They're not from this world." Sarah wanted to laugh, to dismiss his words as madness, but the terror in his eyes was undeniable. A scratching sound at the door made her blood run cold. Claws raked against the wood, a by low, guttural growls. "They can't get in, right?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Ethan didn't answer. The scratching stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. Sarah's pulse thundered in her ears. "Maybe they left," she ventured. A sudden crash shattered the stillness as one of the boarded windows exploded inward. A hulking shadow lunged through the opening. Ethan tackled Sarah to the ground as the creature's claws swiped through the air where she'd been standing. The beast was massive, its eyes burning like embers, its maw filled with razor-sharp teeth. "Run!" Ethan shouted. They scrambled to their feet and darted toward the back door. Sarah's legs burned, but adrenaline kept her moving. They burst into the night, the cold air biting at their skin. The forest was a blur of shadows and moonlight. Sarah didn't know where they were going, only that they had to keep moving. Ahead, a faint glow broke through the darkness. A clearing. Hope flickered in Sarah's chest. They stumbled into the open space, where a circle of stones stood like ancient guardians. Strange symbols were etched into their surfaces, glowing with an otherworldly light. Ethan's face paled. "We shouldn't be here." Before Sarah could ask why, the ground trembled. The air grew thick with energy, crackling like